Hey, welcome to Disability Channel, the show on Disability Channel YouTube. I'm here, Charlie Rose, as one of your hosts, and I'm kind of stuck in a little control room because of the COVID situation. You know, we can't have more than 2 people in the studio, so I'm going to throw it over to our friend Mark Knudsen, and he's with Nick Wilkie.
Hey Nick, welcome to Disability Channel Minnesota. The show,
be here, dude.
Yeah, the show, and which will be on our YouTube channel with the same name. But Nick Wilkie with the Metropolitan Center for Independent Living, correct?
Yes, sir.
And you're located in St. Paul?
St. Paul, just right across from the Lunds and Byerly's on Robert Street, just on the edge of downtown St. Paul.
Okay, so why don't you start with, kind of explaining the start of the Independent Living Center, how it got its start, and where it's at right now.
And I got a lot to say about this subject, so don't feel bad if you have to cut me down a little bit.
That's okay.
But MCIL, where I work, was established in 1982. That's 10 years after the first Center for Independent Living was established in Berkeley, California.
Oh, okay.
So because the center was established in Berkeley, California, as a result of the disability rights movement and independent living movement, 10 years later, the state of Minnesota established the Center for Independent Living in St. Paul, where I work. And every single state, you guys, has designated centers for independent living. There are 8 centers for independent living in the state of Minnesota. And MCIL, where I work, we are responsible for the 7 to 9 county metro area where we live and hang out.
Well, just to test your knowledge about your independent
right.
living. Yeah. What other locations do you have?
Right.
Yeah, he didn't know there would be a quiz here, Mark.
So I can get
Rochester.
Rochester, I can get a couple.
Yep.
Rochester, Marshall,
Duluth,
St.
Cloud, maybe.
There's a satellite, there's right outside of St. Cloud. I think the Independent Living Center up there is located in actually Sauk Rapids.
Okay.
And then we have, I believe there's a center in Fargo.
Okay. Well,
I lost count now.
In fact, what we can do is, you basically want to tease people to come and look at the website.
Yep. Totally.
What's the website?
So the website that I would recommend if you want to find your Center for Independent Living in Minnesota, you go to the MCIL website. That's if you put MACIL into your browser search, you will find the MCIL website, and that will give you all the actual locations in it. And I think if you click on one, you'll actually get regional satellite offices. The outstate centers have satellite offices because they have a lot more miles to cover than we do in the metro area. So based on where the centers are, they have different approaches to the way that they get into services, and we'll probably talk about that too.
Right, and I just want to finish up on this first question.
Yep.
You said it was started out in Berkeley.
Yep.
And who was the individual that started it all out in California?
One of the individuals that started the whole process was a guy by the name of Ed Roberts, and he was actually the first individual with significant disabilities to go to college, and he went to school in Berkeley, and as a result of him going to college out there, more people with disabilities saw him attending college, and they were like, oh, well, if he can do it, so can I. And next thing you know, Berkeley was like a hub for people with disabilities.
He not only attended, he had to fight
to get
totally get out there.
In fact, one of the reasons why it was successful at the time is the Berkeley's campus had a hospital right on it, and that's actually where he lived, because he had an 800-pound iron lung that actually was like part of the medical wing, because he couldn't live in a traditional dorm.
Yeah, so if people have some time, I would
Oh, dude,
definitely,
yeah.
Google
Yep.
whatever you do research-wise at Berkeley to really get the full story. There's a lot out there on them.
And so the first Center for Independent Living was in Berkeley. There's still an amazing campus out there that's called the Ed Roberts campus. Really cool building. It's on my bucket list to go visit one of these days. Then centers just started branching out, and we find ourselves in Minnesota in 1982, and they open up a storefront, and now we're in our location now. We've been there for almost 6 years, I believe. I've been with the organization for 14.
Wow.
And it's been a great ride.
Okay, let's go on. I think, Charlie, you've got a question.
They've kept you 14 years, even though you don't realize that Fargo's in North Dakota.
Right?
It's not in Minnesota.
Yeah, it is on the other side, isn't it? Yeah.
Close enough. It's like horseshoes, right?
Yeah, exactly. Say, Nick, what can you tell us about the mission or the philosophy of MCIL? What's their core?
So the core belief and drive behind Centers for Independent Living, and specifically the Metropolitan Center for Independent Living, is to remove barriers and promote choices for every single person out there. And what we mean by that is everything from physical barriers to ideas and perspectives in an individual's perception that has them believing that they can't do something. Maybe they've never tried it. Maybe they've always been told they can't do it. Well, Centers for Independent Living wants to promote the idea that you can, and you can make choices, and you can decide what it is that you want to do. So everything from any of those barriers underneath the area of independent living, whether like right now we're doing everything remotely, but we have one-to-one goal setting around budgeting, around transportation, around driver's education. There's not a thing that we couldn't help somebody research, help somebody figure out. We've got a lot of good minds at our company, and a lot of insight about ways to get things done.
And obviously, no
I was
question.
going to say, Mark, on the budgeting thing, can I get Nick to talk to my wife?
Yeah.
Oh, yes. We will talk to anyone. I mean, and eligibility, you guys, is so we're so open. We don't have an age range, and we also don't have a time limit.
And go ahead. I'm sorry.
But here's the thing I would say, and this is the biggest part of it, is that the individual has to want to do it.
Right.
Okay.
We've seen that.
Oh my goodness, we can't make them do it, and that would be to make them do it. That would be the Center for Dependent Living. That is not where I work.
Yeah. And no question is a dumb question. So
Nope.
if someone is out there that has any question, feel
Any
free
inkling,
to contact. I can't remember if you mentioned the website or not.
So if you put MCIL into your browser search, you will find the Metropolitan Center for Independent Living. We're also listed under the MCIL under the MCIL reference that I mentioned before.
Yep.
I would say the biggest thing is if you've never thought that it would be possible, just start asking some questions.
Right. Yeah.
You know? And like Mark said, there's no such thing as a question that we probably haven't heard before. And if we don't have the connections in house,
Right.
we help people find.
Right. Because you've got a
those
network
answers.
of agencies and.
Yep. And under the something that we'll talk about too is called the Disability Hub.
Right. Yeah.
Yep.
And like any program or organization, there has to be funding.
Right.
This stuff just doesn't happen for free.
Right.
So
Yep.
how is not only MCIL funded, but then individuals who need your services?
So here's how that works. We are funded by state and federal dollars, and that is part of it's set up as a funding stream through state and federal. And then we also, centers as individual agencies also take donations in kind. And then we also have, as a way to expand services, because that state and federal funding doesn't, I mean, it only goes so far. We also do a lot of contract-based services for the state and other county contracts and that kind of thing. So
Okay.
we've got contracts with Hennepin County, and we also have contracts with the entities like vocational rehabilitation, and that allows us to continue to innovate and do our work in different ways, and that's called fee for service. But the thing about the funding stream is that at no time, under no circumstance that I'm aware of, is an individual charged to get help, the help that they're looking for. What we can't guarantee is that if we have to refer out to another entity,
Yep.
we can't extend that free of charge service to somebody outside of our walls.
Okay.
But we can always help people find connections to the resources.
Let's go to Charlie next for a question.
So, I think you're leading too also with the some of the programs and what you just mentioned in helping people. That's falls kind of under the Disability Hub and many of the other programs you run there. So why don't you kind of give us a rundown of what happens there?
So the Disability Hub specifically is how we do information and referral. Like the very specific example of if we don't offer the service, that's one of the tools that we use to help people find it. As a professional, as I'm helping people navigate, I will call the Disability Hub. I will do a web-based chat with them to help people navigate, to help myself find information so that I can guide people along the way. And then I extend the information to the individuals that I work with, but I also encourage those individuals to call, to do the chat, to look them up online, because the hub, they will help connect you to resources that you might not know about, that you might be eligible for. Different connections, different ways to get involved, and that's a free service as well. I have a number of colleagues at MCIL that operate as options counselors, and they are a wealth of information. And if somebody like you, Charlie, calls, if you call an options counselor, they will keep a record of your call, so that if you call again, they'll be able to look it up. They'll be able to see, okay, what kind of conversations were started. Where is the individual at now with their navigation? If they haven't looked into some options, maybe explore some more. If they're having trouble with navigation in those options, maybe have some more of those conversations. So it's such an experience to call.
And with disability,
Yep.
you can access it via website,
Yep.
and if someone
If
is
you
not
want-
a web type person, they
if
could
you
call,
want to
right?
call directly, you can definitely call. Let's see if I can do the number by heart here. 1-866-333-2466. Double check me.
And the number is going to appear here. So if Nick is getting it wrong,
Right here.
the TV will have it correctly,
Excellent.
and they can get to the Disability Hub through your website, the MCIL.
I would say yes, you can find it there.
Oh,
because
right.
that's on our website too. But they can also look it up independently
By
just
We'll
putting
be
it in the
happy
browser.
to put it on the screen for people to see as well.
That'd be great.
Yeah. So
That'd be awesome.
And then also I see that you also have independent living classes.
Yep.
What does that involve?
So our independent living classes, like a lot of our class structure right now, is we're doing those things remotely. So a lot of our classes, I would say, I don't know this for fact, but I think a lot of our stuff is just one-to-one and we're doing it over the phone or via Zoom right now. But a lot of those different goals, communication goals, budgeting goals, transportation goals, even dialoguing about what the options might be, helping people explore housing, find out about touring places, find out about access options, all that stuff.
Okay.
Okay?
Charlie, you want to get to the next?
Well, you also talk about advocacy, home modification guidance, all that type of thing. What is the biggest need that you see that coming through your doors?
Yeah.
I think the biggest need that hits my desk on a regular basis right now is just continuing to be aware about what is offered in the community, and how can somebody with a disability and their family members be able to navigate that system, and who can help with that. And we at MCIL can help with that via our advocates, via the information and referral that we do with the Disability Hub. I mean, it's really about navigation, but then also, as a caveat to that question, I think consistently our biggest barrier is, getting individuals to follow through on what they want to do.
Okay. And I think one of the questions that, if you could, touch on real quickly too, is obviously for independent living, home modifications.
Right. So I've actually been kind of the point person for ramps and home modifications for about a year and a half now here. We help people navigate and find different providers that will do those modifications to their homes, come in and find out estimates, figure out what it's going to cost, and then if the possibilities are right, getting them connected to different waiver programs. Also looking at other community funding streams. There are grants. A lot of times there are grants available depending on where you live to help you pay for those things as well. Chair lifts, widening doors, remodeling a bathroom, all that stuff can be done. It costs money, and we might be able to help you figure out how you can get portions of it funded.
Okay, I think before we go, the last thing I would like to touch on.
Are we to the last thing already?
Well,
oh my goodness.
We could keep going if you need be, but one thing is obviously.
I'm ready.
Yeah. You're MCIL is involved with ADA.
Yep.
And why don't you talk about the celebration or that?
So we've got
Let's talk ADA.
One of my colleagues, her name is Cindy, she's in charge of our Americans with Disabilities Act contract for Minnesota, and the ADA is coming up on the 30th anniversary, and there's a website and a Facebook page that you can go to. I'm sure you guys will put that up there. I think it's ADA 30MN.
Yes, I think it is. I know it's ADA 30 something. I think it's the MN.
This is the 30th anniversary, and I'm a little disappointed, you guys, because at the end of July it would have been the 30th anniversary.
Right.
But because of pandemic right now, everything's gone virtual. So there's going to be a virtual celebration. A couple weeks ago, the Great Lakes ADA Center, which is where our contract is from, they reached out to the disability community, and people all in the community got to do like 3 to 5 minute videos on what the ADA means to them. So.
And at Disability Channel Minnesota, we believe in in-depth reporting. We want the honest answer from you, Nick. The reason you are disappointed there's no ADA celebration is, be honest, because you hosted in the past, correct?
I have emceed in the past. I have. I get kind of shy in front of the camera.
Yeah. Before we go, is there anything, Charlie, you would like to add?
No, I think we're in good shape. I appreciate Nick coming in today. It's been a fun conversation, and definitely want to see him back one time.
Well, next time I come, I'll be sure to wear my Hawaiian shirt, Chuck.
Yeah.
You don't want to outdo me now.
No, I won't. I won't. Look at that.
Yeah, so thank you, Nick, for joining us. Yeah. And like I said, the show will be on our Disability Channel Minnesota YouTube channel, and we hope to see Nick and some of his co-workers there
That would be
producing
awesome.
some video and content for our channel, and then also bringing maybe some other individuals onto the show, but definitely getting some video content out there on our channel.
That would be cool.
So once again, thank you. And that's it as far as talking about independent living.
Thanks, everybody.
All right, thank you, Mark, thank you, Nick.
Yep.